Hello everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a piece of source material that completely, and I mean absolutely completely, flips the script on how we look at the world around us, and honestly, how we perceive the divine. If you've ever felt like your life is just, a series of mundane, totally ordinary events, well, you are definitely going to want to pay close attention.
So ask yourself this, what if the stranger who completely changed your life wasn't just a stranger? Seriously, think about that person who gave you directions when you were hopelessly lost. Or maybe a friend of a friend who offered this weirdly specific piece of advice that, looking back, ended up saving your career. We tend to write these moments off as just lucky coincidences, but what if there's this entire other layer of reality operating right under our noses? When we hear the word miracle or angel, our minds instantly jump to blockbuster movie territory, right? We expect the booming thunder, we expect the blinding, blazing light, radiant wings, and these earth-shaking voices declaring our ultimate destiny. But the material we're looking at today, it shows us that real miracles, actual divine interventions, they usually just look like dusty roads. They look like shared meals. They sound like super practical advice coming from a completely ordinary companion.
Section 1, an ordinary journey. Okay, let's dive into this fascinating historical case study from the Book of Tobit to see exactly how this crazy contrast plays out in everyday life.
Right, so our story kicks off with two people who are dealing with profound, really isolating suffering. First, we have Tobit. He's this aging, deeply faithful guy who suffered a freak accident that left him totally blind. But he still trusts God. Then, miles away, we have a young woman named Sarah, and she is just crushed by this completely unique, heavy grief because she's lost multiple husbands to a literal demonic force. Now these two, they don't know each other at all. But God has already heard both of their agonizing prayers and is actively preparing one single answer that is going to transform both of their lives.
But here is the catch. That divine answer, it doesn't descend from the clouds with a choir of trumpets. Not at all. Instead, the Archangel Raphael just shows up. And he shows up as a guy named Azariah, just your average everyday traveler who offers to help Tobit's son Tobias on a really tough journey. I mean, Azariah looks completely normal. He talks like a regular guy, he knows the local roads, he gives totally standard travel advice. Literally no one suspected they were walking alongside one of heaven's absolute highest messengers.
And this brilliantly illustrates the step-by-step nature of faith, because Raphael, in his disguise as Azariah, starts giving Tobias these strangely mundane instructions along the road. They're just walking along, and Azariah basically says, "Hey, catch that large fish. Okay, now save its heart, liver, and gallbladder." At first glance, that is just weird, harmless camping advice. But these incredibly ordinary, almost bizarre little steps, catching a fish, keeping the journey going, marrying Sarah, they were actually the precise keys to unlocking the massive miracles they had all been praying for.
Imagine how incredibly easy it would have been for Tobias to just completely dismiss Azariah's guidance. I mean, really, put yourself in Tobias's shoes for a second here. You are trekking down a hard road, and some random guy you hired as a guide suddenly tells you to start harvesting fish organs. Tobias could have so easily questioned him. He could have ignored him, laughed at him, or just decided to take a completely different route. But he didn't. He simply trusted this ordinary companion walking right beside him.
And because of that simple, unflashy act of trust, literally everything changes. Tobias actually follows the strange advice. When he finally reaches Sarah, Raphael tells him exactly how to use the fish's heart and liver, and the demonic torment is completely driven away. Sarah is freed, they get joyfully married, and then later, using the gall from that exact same fish, Tobit's eyesight is 100% restored. The mundane, weird instructions were the miracle the entire time.
Section 2, the astonishing reveal. Because now, the veil gets lifted. Everything that has happened on this boring, dusty, ordinary road is about to be cast in a completely different light.
Only after every single task is fully completed, Azariah looks right at them and drops this absolute bombshell. I am Raphael, one of the 7 angels who stand ready and enter before the glory of the Lord.
Just imagine the absolute pin-drop silence in that room, the sheer shock. In that profound, stunned silence, their entire reality just shifted backward. Suddenly, every single normal conversation they had on that road meant something so much more. Every dusty mile of that grueling journey instantly became sacred ground. They realized that every ordinary moment had been touched and transformed by this hidden reality that they simply didn't have the eyes to see while they were in it.
Section 3, the beauty of hindsight. So, the crucial point here is how this ancient story actually applies to you today. How does it change the way we navigate our own lives, our challenges, and our prayers?
Well, the source text gives us a really powerful framework for how miracles actually tend to show up in our modern, everyday lives. Turns out they don't usually look very miraculous while they're happening. Sometimes a massive blessing is literally just a passing conversation with a total stranger. Sometimes the answer to a deep, desperate prayer comes through a friend offering you some unexpected wisdom over a cheap cup of coffee. Or, and this one is definitely harder to swallow, sometimes help arrives fully disguised as a painfully difficult assignment, a really frustrating delayed journey, or some strange, scary new opportunity.
And the messengers themselves? Yeah, they rarely wear halos. If you look throughout biblical history, God consistently speaks through the unlikely and the utterly ordinary. We're talking shepherds, fishermen, widows, carpenters, children, even just random travelers. Our source material points out time and time again that heaven frequently chooses humility over spectacle. It genuinely delights in accomplishing extraordinary purposes through the most ordinary circumstances and people imaginable.
Which brings us to a really challenging truth. We usually only recognize God's fingerprints after we're looking backward. Think about your own life right now for a second. How many people do you overlook every single day just because they seem ordinary? How many massive opportunities do you dismiss right off the bat because they don't appear spectacular enough? How many quiet, subtle answers to your prayers have you completely written off as mere coincidence?
Section 4. Faith for the next step. Okay, let's move to our final point here and see how all of this builds a really practical framework for making decisions in your own life when things feel totally uncertain.
Raphael's mission teaches us this one essential rule. God's guidance often unfolds one step at a time. Remember, Raphael never sat Tobias down at the beginning of the trip and handed him this fully annotated map with the final destination highlighted in neon. Not at all. Tobias only received enough direction for the very next step. Catch the fish, save the organs, keep walking.
So many of us get completely paralyzed because we want the entire roadmap revealed before we'll even make a move. We want solid guarantees. But faith actually grows by taking the next faithful step, even when the final destination remains totally hidden from view. We're often just given enough light for today's decision, and we're asked to simply trust for tomorrow's.
So listen, if you're feeling lost or stuck right now, this might be exactly where the divine is already at work in your life this very second. It might be happening through ordinary conversations, in those random, unexpected opportunities that just pop up out of nowhere, through the faithful friends who consistently stand by you, in quiet moments of encouragement, and in your own simple acts of obedience that might seem totally insignificant today, but are actually going to be life-changing tomorrow.
I really have to ask you, are you waiting for lightning from heaven? Seriously, are you just sitting there waiting for a dramatic sign or this unmistakable, earth-shattering answer to all your problems? Because if you are only ever looking up at the clouds, you might be completely missing the guide who is walking right next to you on the ground.
Ultimately, the absolute greatest miracle in the story of Tobit isn't just that an angel appeared disguised as a guy named Azariah. No, the true miracle, the one that should really bring this profound warmth to your heart, is that God cared enough to walk beside his people through every single dusty, difficult mile of their journey. His faithfulness is quiet, his timing is definitely mysterious, but he is absolutely there. So the next time your life feels incredibly, painstakingly ordinary, please do not make the mistake of assuming that God is absent. That annoying ordinary delay, that tiny conversation you almost ignored entirely, that person you nearly overlooked, any one of those things could be the exact place where heaven is actively at work, guiding your steps in ways you won't even fully understand until you're finally looking back.
I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought to carry with you. Who is the ordinary traveler walking beside you today? Really take a fresh look at the people and the circumstances in your everyday life. If this explainer brought you some clarity and maybe a little encouragement, please hit subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating source materials, and share this with someone who might just need a little hope today. Remember, the next ordinary moment you experience may just be carrying an extraordinary purpose. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep your eyes open.